swaggerguru.com presents In the Loop, where we keep you in the loop of what's going on. If this content is beneficial to you, like, comment, subscribe, share it with a friend, and hit the notification bell. When you like our content, it helps people find our content. Thank you for your support. We appreciate you. Unless you have been living under a rock, you have heard that it rained worms in China. This was reported on multiple news sources and websites. A scientific journal suggested that the worms were dropped after being swept up by heavy winds. The journal also noted that this type of occurrence occurs after a storm when worms are caught up in a whirlpool. The Ministry of Public Security in China confirmed the location where the viral video was taken and attributed the worm-like debris to trees. Quote, "Poplar flowers falling all over the roof of the car look like bugs from a distance." End quote. The poplar trees that are located all over China has two types of flowers, male and female. Female poplar flowers appear like snow when they fall from the tree, and the male counterpart appears to have the worm-like features seen in the video. The post by the Ministry of Public Security in China, written in Chinese and translated via Google Translate, implied people should do their research before assuming by saying, "The story tells us we must read more." Let's talk about United States governors. Governor Wes Moore is the 63rd governor of the state of Maryland. He is Maryland's first black governor in the state's 246-year history and is just the third African-American elected governor in the history of the United States. The United States has never had a black female governor. This next story is about the Maryland governor that was in office before Wes Moore. The former governor of Maryland, Larry Hogan, his ex-chief of staff, Roy McGrath, is missing. He was due in court on fraud and embezzlement charges. He failed to appear in court Monday, March 13th, for the first day of his trial on wire fraud and embezzlement charges. The former governor of Maryland, Larry Hogan, has repeatedly denied knowing anything about McGrath's fraud. McGrath's wife fears for her husband's safety. She was expected to exercise spousal privilege to avoid testifying. She and McGrath married on September 25th, 2021, less than 2 weeks before McGrath was indicted in federal court, according to public marriage records. A federal manhunt is underway for Roy McGrath. Earlier this month, 4 African Americans traveled to Mexico to accompany one in their group that was going to receive a medical procedure. It is believed that the African Americans were misidentified as drug or human traffickers. The 4 African Americans were kidnapped in Matamoros, Mexico. A Mexican woman was shot and killed during the kidnapping. 2 of the 4 kidnapping victims were killed. The remaining 2 victims have been rescued and are receiving treatment in the United States. The Associated Press reports the Mexican cartel that kidnapped the 4 African American tourists and killed 2 of them has apologized and given up the members who committed the actions. Mississippi. The family of a black man in Mississippi whose body was found dismembered has asked the U.S. government to investigate his death. His mother said Rasheem Carter, 25, called his mother last October and asked for help after he said a group of white men in trucks were chasing him in Laurel, Mississippi. His body was found in the woods a month later. The local county sheriff's office said it did not suspect any foul play. At a news conference, the family's attorney, Benjamin Crump, called the incident a hate crime and asked the Department of Justice to investigate. He said an autopsy performed showed Mr. Carter had been decapitated and his body parts were found in different locations. The oldest U.S. federal law enforcement agency, the U.S. Marshal Service, has revealed it was the victim of a ransomware cyber attack in which hackers stole sensitive data. The U.S. Marshal Service declined to say how it was compromised, whether it has identified who was behind the attack, or if it paid the unknown attackers ransom demand. The FBI advises against paying ransom demands, warning that doing so doesn't guarantee restored access to data. Recently, it has been reported that in a Russian-speaking hacking forum, hackers claim to have the data, and the data contains aerial footage and photos of military bases and other high-security areas, copies of passports and identification documents, and details on wiretapping and surveillance of citizens. The files also contain information on convicts, gang leaders, and cartels. The hackers also claim that some files are marked as secret or top secret. The hackers claim the database includes details about witnesses in the Witness Protection Program. The database is being sold for $150,000. Last year, the FAA sought $29.4 million from Congress for computer upgrades. The Federal Aviation Administration halted flights across America in early January. It was the first nationwide ground stop since the 9/11 terrorist attacks. The FAA blamed a contractor for unintentionally deleting computer files in an alert system which tells pilots about restrictions and hazards along their routes. The United States is up to 7 airplane near collisions so far this year. A former official in the Bill Clinton and Barack Obama White Houses died earlier this month after the private business jet that the prominent Washington attorney was on experienced stability issues and encountered severe turbulence mid-flight. Dana Hyde, 55, was flying from Maryland to New England and suffered blunt force injuries from violent turbulence. The National Transportation Safety Board has since started investigating a reported trim issue that occurred prior to the in-flight upset that affected the plane's altitude control and may have caused the instability. The NBA Los Angeles Clippers charter plane got struck by lightning on their way to Denver on February 25th. It was reported the plane dropped in altitude several times, and shrieks could be heard from passengers in what some staffers called one of the worst moments they've experienced on a flight. Shortly after the Clippers landed safely in Colorado, the team saw a mark that took some of the paint off the tail of the Delta Airlines plane, the result of a mid-air lightning strike. Clippers player Nashawn Lee Bones Highland tweeted out, "Not gonna lie, we thought it was over with." Camilla Alves McConaughey was with her husband, actor Matthew McConaughey, on a flight from Austin to Frankfurt, Germany. It had to make an emergency landing at Dulles Airport near Washington due to severe turbulence that resulted in 7 people being hospitalized. McConaughey posted footage on Instagram of the inside of the plane after it stabilized. The turbulence took place during meal service, so trays and food were strewn all over the plane. She claims that she was told the plane dropped 4,000 feet. Statistics prove that flying in an airplane is the safest way to travel. Pentagon UFO chief says alien mothership in our solar system possible. There is a possibility that extraterrestrial motherships and smaller probes may be visiting planets in our solar system. The head of the Pentagon's Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Research Office noted in a report, an artificial interstellar object could potentially be a parent craft that releases many small probes during its close passage to Earth, an operational construct not too dissimilar from NASA missions. Sean Kirkpatrick, director of the Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, wrote in a research report co-authored by Abraham Loeb, chairman of Harvard University's Astronomy Department. If this content is beneficial to you, like, comment, subscribe, share it with a friend, and hit the notification bell. When you like our content, it helps people find our content. Thank you for your support. We appreciate you.